Hey everybody, welcome to Sliding Through Dimensions. This episode we're going to be talking about the Prince of Wales. If you want to watch the show, it's available on Peacock and also available to purchase on Amazon on DVD. Let's get started.
What if you could revisit brand new worlds right here from your headphones, where anything is possible? Same shows, different perspectives. We've found the gateway.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Sliding Through Dimensions. We are Sliders Rewatch Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about, was it episode 4? Prince of Wails.
Yeah. On DVD.
Yeah, if you're on DVD, it's episode 4. If you're on Peacock, it's episode 5.
5, yeah.
So on this episode, the Sliders land in a world where the American colonists lost the Revolutionary War and where the British States of America now stands. The sheriff of San Francisco plots to assume power through the murder of the heir, Prince Harold III. Professor Arturo assumes the sheriff's identity to save Quinn from execution, thwart a dastardly deed, and bring new ideas on democracy to the people. So, what you guys think of the episode?
It was a good episode. I feel like we see I guess we'll go into it later. I won't spoil anything yet.
So I guess it starts off. They're about to slide from.
They're about to. But
they're like climbing.
Zoom in, like on. I can't remember whose face it is, but it is like maybe Quinn's face. Like it's like a zoom in on Quinn's face, and you kind of like see the distress.
Yeah.
As they're sliding in, and then.
And almost you could tell that they were kind of like climbing something.
Like
there was something windy. I know.
Like 2 steps.
Yeah, so like they're like surrounded by water. It's like
we open up in like another planet.
It's like Tsunami World or something.
I think they say that the
straight up water world.
Ice caps had melted.
Yeah, the ice caps had melted on this, so like San Francisco was all underwater.
And then you got Rembrandt yelling at Quinn about getting caught up in this.
Poor guy. I know, recounting his tales of woe. But I know I felt bad. I mean, you do feel bad. Like I said it before. You feel bad for Rembrandt. Poor guy. Just got sucked into this.
Can't even drive down the street.
I know. I did like that part where he's like yelling at Quinn, and then Quinn's like, "How many times do I have to say sorry?" And he's like, "Just start saying it. I'll tell you when it's enough." Like, but they're also dressed in like a kind of like 70s-ish.
Yeah, this is one of the ones where like you notice they messed with the episodes because.
Oh, do we see those? Do we see those outfits in another show?
First, yeah, it's the next episode, which is Summer of Love.
We're gonna see them in those outfits.
Yeah, you'll see them.
Oh, I thought it was just like a way to clue you that they had been in another world and now they were in this world.
You'll noticeably tell we'll get to the next episode. You'll be like, whoa, that was.
Oh, you're like, hey, that's that outfit.
So the Summer of Love
is supposed to be first.
It's supposed to be like.
Episode 4.
Oh, it is supposed to be episode 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened in the last episode would be.
So what happens in the next episode is what's happening before this episode. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Now that you start to see like the kind of like out of orderedness.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also right it was like before they slide, they agreed no getting involved with the locals on the next one.
Like the rules.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they had agreed that on the next world.
Yeah, which would be like what they're about to slide to.
Okay, they slide. So then they slide, and again he chooses to put the portal furthest away from Rembrandt. So Rembrandt has to
he does it so that R2 because he knows
R2 is less of a true. That's true. Oh yeah, you're right.
So and they and then they see like a whale.
That's right, the shark.
It's like a shark.
They see
it's really weird. It's like a weird looking shark. I thought
it was like a whale shark or something.
It was. I mean, I don't know every species of shark out there.
Arturo does this amazing scream. Like he screams like in the most hilarious way.
I didn't notice the scream. I just like because Wade was like, let's not be. Or she said something about the locals, and he's like, we're like a bazillion. Yeah.
So then they jump in, and then they're like in the fountain, and then you get Remy screaming.
Oh,
but he's
that-
But he's got a good comeback. He's got a good comeback on
He's
the
like,
screen.
"Ah."
I was like,
This
ooh,
is like
what
a-
He, but even that audio of him sounded really weird. Like it didn't
Yeah.
sound like that audio. So the scream sounded odd. Like it sounded like a funny scream. Yeah.
Maybe they did it.
But then like
after
the odd, like I don't know if maybe they did like a
post thing.
like a post thing. But his
Maybe.
voice sounded kind of weird. But you see that like weird. I wonder. You know what? I should have looked up if that was an actual statue in San Francisco.
Maybe.
'Cause it's like that weird fish,
Oh,
like-
like a lionfish.
Yeah,
That's what
like-
thought
I
of it
thought
as,
it was like a
lion.
piranha. No.
I don't know.
Oh
but
wait,
just
I
kinda-
thought it was
I
like
looked
one
at
of
it.
those like deep underwater ones
Yeah.
with the little light. It made
okay.
me think of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
That's like creepy.
But that was funny the way he tries to cover it up.
I know. I thought you did pretty good. I was like,
Here, I believed him.
Recovers.
So then they find out they're on their road for 6 days.
Yeah,
It's
almost
just,
a week.
Yeah.
Six?
Yeah,
6 days, and I
No,
forget like
so a couple couple
and some
hours, something
change.
like that,
Yeah.
One of the more long. This is the longest one we've had, I think, so far, right?
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
because
so.
the other it was like 2 days.
Yeah, and then
12
that
hours or 12 minutes.
Yeah.
oh, when they were on that oil one.
I was just thinking, like, why didn't they just stay on that one?
On this one, on the British
Or
one.
no, on the oil one.
I know that one
Just
would have been
stay
the best
there.
one to
That'd
stay
been
on
pretty
because
good
you were
when,
like,
you were rich.
yeah. But then
And
if
then you have
ever,
the money to do research to get home, slide home later.
I guess their thought is like the next one could be ours. Like,
Yeah.
what if the next one was ours?
Yeah, and then so they're like walking around trying to figure out, what's going on. And
Oh.
you see the name
Oh,
of the
yeah.
bank?
Oh,
Oh,
what's his name?
Napoleon?
The name of the bank is Benedict Arnold Savings.
Oh, Benedict Arnold. There we go. Yeah, and then they had those like phone booths, those like phone call boxes,
All the
those
call
red
boxes,
ones.
like in-
And then you see the
in-
double-decker bus, so you're like, oh, this
It's
is very,
British.
and everybody's like doing like a
Oh,
weird
they're
kind
all
of,
bowing.
Yeah.
Is what we find out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, I guess it's a very British,
Yeah.
very British town right now, or
And
dimension.
then I think Wade like walks into the street for some reason again.
Yeah, she gets
With the
run over.
newspaper?
She gets almost run over again.
Yeah. She almost getting
Because
hit by cars.
she got run over or almost got
Almost
run over in
in
fever.
Fever. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so then Quinn has to step in and grab her.
Yeah.
But why she like
Was it Quinn or was
it was Quinn who grabs her, I think.
Oh.
Oh no. Last
No, the last
yeah,
one
yeah,
was
yeah,
that guy,
that's
yeah.
true.
But like she like picks up a newspaper on the floor.
Mm.
And
Like
that's why
reading
she
the
ends up and then
headlines.
she's like, I'm just gonna stay in the street and kind of like read it for
Yeah.
a little
And then
bit.
The guy gets out of the car, yells at her, calls her a stupid little strumpet.
Oh yeah, I'm all strumpet.
and then the driver realizes, there's a professor there, and he's like starts apologizing to them.
Oh
saying,
yeah.
he's like, you can come and
Come to the
to
Royal
my-
Street,
to-
like, yeah,
the Royal Suite. and
yes,
I'll
Royal
hook you
Suite.
up at the I just
And
hotel
then
rooms.
Arturo's like, it's a little bit more than I think we can afford.
And he's like, ha, ha, ha. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like, laughing.
He's like, I'm sorry, please don't kill me.
So then they go to the hotel.
Which gives you like a little like clue of like,
Oh, type of like that, like Arturo's power.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they figured it out yet, but they're just like, well, maybe on this world everybody's very
Oh,
hospitable.
Yeah. I don't know. After that insult,
I know. He went in hot too.
Yeah.
Like he was,
Yeah.
I mean, which I guess you would be upset if someone just like, but it's not, she was standing there for a little bit. Like I can imagine like angry and honking, but like,
Yeah,
I feel like maybe you had time to stop. I don't know.
yeah. So then they take him up on the offer. They go to the hotel, and then they're all got nice clothes now.
Oh, yeah,
and
they get
this,
dry.
Like, really funny scene where Quinn's talking and he's trying to tie a tie and he can't tie a tie, and so Arturo like helps him. Like,
Yeah.
how to see.
Oh, I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that he couldn't tie it.
Yeah.
I was
That
too.
sweet.
I think I was too focused on. I think people were eating like celery sticks.
Oh, this is where they do that. That's funny, like the UK food joke.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like they were
Rembrandt's
eating.
all like, who the heck eats kidney pie?
Well, they're like, well, let's go get food somewhere else because this is
Yeah,
like
we then have
trash.
to order out, and then and then they.
Oh yeah,
found,
because
like,
they
the
were just
local-
they're just gonna spend. They just had decided like, oh, we'll just spend all 6 days here.
Yeah. So they
Yeah.
had like a bunch of newspapers and books and stuff, and then you find out. This is where they kind of find out that San Francisco was part of the British States of America.
British like colonies of America
that
or
the
something.
America lost the Revolutionary War and still ruled by monarchy. So
Yeah, George Washington was like hanged, and it was like
Oh yeah, he was
barely.
hanged in 1770.
Oh, okay.
and it was like
But
barely.
Remy said he had no problem with the Brits because he was top of the charts over there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, did he say
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Oh, he's like, they love me over
Yeah,
there.
this is where we get the broadcast of the sheriff. Which
Oh,
is
yeah.
hilarious.
Which of
And
course
they-
is Arturo
And talking
again.
about taxes and how now only 74%.
74.
It was a
Yeah,
2%
decrease.
decrease.
It was 76 before.
Yeah, you know what? I
Yeah.
looked up what their actual tax rate is in the UK, and it is like it's 20 to like 45%.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm assuming into like your healthcare.
Yeah, it goes into all of that.
There you
Yeah,
go.
but I'm like, I'm because I was like, damn, that's really high. But I was like, you know what? I don't know what their taxes is, so I was like, maybe it is actually kind of close. But no, it was pretty far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but then she's reading. So while Arturo is like finding out what happened, she's like reading these like tabloids, these like
Oh, about the
Is that in
prince.
the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's in the hotel, yeah.
That he was having.
He
an
likes
he's
women.
into like 60-year-old women or something.
Well,
like
he's
that.
in with like a
Yeah, weird range.
teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was caught with like a
Yeah.
teenager
Okay.
and her
And then
80-year-old grandmother.
That's
So like
crazy.
two weird things, like incest and also like this like weird age disparity was going on. So like you start to realize like, oh, the prince is kind of scandalous.
Yeah. So then they realize that
Yeah,
they
it's
probably
all-
need to get out of there. And then Waits says, "Oh well, we shouldn't leave without leaving empty-handed." And then the professors are like,
I have it quoted here.
Yeah,
you
have
He
it?
says, sometimes, Miss Wells, you frighten me.
and,
That's what he says.
and then she's all like, "What?" So
But then they're driving down in the car, and then he asks for a car,
he asked for a car and to stock it with the finest cheeses
and
and,
I was like,
and fruit, all the
nice.
money in the register.
Yeah.
Which is weird to be like, I want all the money in the register.
Oh well, I mean, I guess he's a sheriff; he can get away with it.
I guess.
I guess just in case they had to go.
I guess you're like, what can I say? He's the
Yeah.
sheriff. Yeah.
So they try to get out of town to avoid, getting into any drama.
Yeah.
Avoiding the locals again.
This is like where we get like a pretty cool, I guess, like chain reaction we see because of no U.S. revolution. No other country ever has a revolution.
Oh yeah.
yeah, and then
So I wonder if just
they-
everybody ended up
They
like
said
still
the French Revolution never happened.
The
The
Russian
Russian
Revolution, and
Revolution.
then of course Wade was disappointed because he's like, not even the sexual revolution.
Yeah.
She's like, that's my favorite. She's like,
Oh, Quinn rolls his eyes too when she
Yeah.
says that. He's like, which this is coming up from, so like the way we're watching it, right? The way it would have aired, this comes up after their kiss. So it is like really weird that he'd be like, like
Oh
I
yeah,
guess
maybe it's
something happened in
in between.
yeah.
They had a talk like on the water world, and they were like, you know what?
So like it looks like they're driving in the countryside, but I guess it's supposed to be like present day like Oakland, where there's just like nothing but like
that's
forest.
right.
Oh yeah, it was all
Yeah,
green.
it was all
Yeah, that's
green.
right. He makes mention to that.
And then the car breaks down, and then of course they make fun of British ingenuity.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
all like, oh, along with that, you end up with the British kind of engineering too.
Yeah.
And it's like the car is broken down, they're pushing it, except for
Except He's in
Arturo.
the car still reading.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
But
And
you know
then-
what though? Wade's hair looked like her haircut looked different. Yeah.
Well,
I guess maybe because of the out of
Maybe-
order.
maybe
But I
just 'cause,
remember
yeah.
looking at her hair and being like, oh,
is
it
it a little
looks
bit
like a bit
shorter? Didn't it look a
I
little
think-
shorter?
I think to me it looked a little bit longer.
Oh really?
Yeah, it just looked more like kept up.
Yeah. So then they're like standing around trying to figure stuff out, and then Rembrandt says like, "Oh, the army." He's like,
Yeah.
no, the army never.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I actually put
The
it
army-
places.
oh, yeah, go.
Military depots. Oh, like depositions instead of impositions in a monarchy is what he says.
Yeah, and then Rembrandt's like, "No, the army's coming."
He
And you
saw
see a
them.
bunch of troops coming towards him, and then you see he came back. They're all boss Hurley.
Oh,
He
is
was
that
the
who
one-
that
he was the
was?
one running.
I kept thinking.
Oh,
I
he was
find
the
it
main
funny that
guy?
He's the only American
yeah,
that's
right.
like working for the
For the
British that you
British.
see. That like just he's the only one who doesn't have an accent.
Was he the head of
And he's
that
like,
like little
Yeah, that
military?
little army, that little
Oh,
platoon right there that he was with. I saw him. I was like, "Oh, Xander's gonna be happy. He's his boss."
he's back.
So then they see the professor there, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry, we got shotgun shells to make it look like an accident."
Oh, like a hunting accident.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
so you know,
accident.
like, oh, they're trying to
yeah,
like,
they're trying to assassinate somebody. So then they're like, first they're like, okay, yeah, and they kind of like get him like to go away, and then they realize.
oh
that they
yeah, I
have to
like that little
intervene.
part where he's like, these people with you, and he
And
just like
he's all
touches
like-
his nose. He's like, and the guy's like,
They're,
oh, sorry.
basically saying like, oh, like I don't know. But don't
Yeah,
worry about
like
it.
don't mention it.
And then, so then that's when they kind of figure like, we got to stop somebody from getting murdered.
Yeah.
And then they decide to intervene, and then you find out they're trying to kill the prince.
Should they have intervened though?
I mean, realistically, no, but morally, they felt obligated.
Yeah, I guess like I don't know the end result. Yeah, I'm glad. I think it's
That
good
they did, true.
Yeah.
But like,
No, they obviously went against. They said what they were going to
I
do.
know.
Well, that's why they joke about it.
Yeah.
true. But you see it happening like all the time in this episode. But yeah, they find out it's the prince.
Yeah.
Who I originally thought was Quinn. I thought it was a version of Quinn because you get a far shot of him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's Quinn.
Oh.
And then
it
you
was-
get to see him get tackled down. And I was like, oh, that is not Quinn.
That would be, yeah.
That's what I thought, yeah.
You get like a different. I wonder when they decide like how they decided like when they're going to
who's
be
gonna be the
using alternate
alternative?
self versus
Yeah.
like a whole new
Yeah.
person.
That makes sense.
Maybe they were like, we don't have it in the budget right now since it took so long to like always film with like the
Like
same.
2 different
Yeah.
locations and everything. So then they go and they like tackle him and like he's like
Tell him to shut up.
he's like you were about to get whacked.
Ooh.
And then the professor goes over there and basically tells them, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'm gonna take care of it himself." So
Yeah.
they leave and then they head back to the car and that's when they get met by the Oakland Raiders.
Oh yeah.
The Raiders, you're not the Oakland Raiders.
The Oakland
Yeah.
Raiders aren't the
So-
Oakland Raiders anymore, right?
No, they're Las Vegas now.
Oh, they're Las Vegas. Oh,
They were in
okay.
Los Angeles for a bit too.
That's what I thought. I didn't know they had moved to
No, they're in
Vegas.
Vegas.
Oh, okay.
So then I just thought that was funny that the Raiders is just named after the Raiders football team.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what though? In that little scene though, the prince is like talking, and you are kind of like he's kind of a dunce. Like
Well, I just think
Oh,
he's
he
kept
really-
in the
I think he
dark on
believes-
everything.
Yeah, he believes in the monarchy.
I
Yeah.
guess he's just kind
He
of
thinks the
like
system
And he,
works, I guess.
and he thinks the
Yeah, I guess,
sheriff's
yeah, he
like in
does
his
think,
good
like, the
interest and
system
all that
works,
stuff.
like,
like,
yeah.
yeah, that's true. He
I
just
think
kind of
it's
like
just-
believes what the
I think
sheriff
it's just because
says.
he's being fed lies. From
But
the
even
Yeah.
Arturo is just like just stop talking.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I think
They get this one, they
Quinn kind of like decides like, okay, we're not going to.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So he kind of
He
Gives
uses them
us-
as hostages.
uses them as like, oh, we brought you the sheriff and the prince, and then they take them all to like an underground bunker. Which I wonder if it's the same bunker they used for the Soviet one.
Yeah,
For
probably.
the American
Oh,
one.
maybe.
I feel like they would reuse the
Probably, yeah. Just like dress it up
And
a
then
little
they,
bit
like,
different.
Transition over to the sheriff, right? Like on TV.
Oh, yeah.
he's doing like a little.
This is where we
thing.
see Jerry's mom.
Yeah, Jerry's mom.
Oh, that was
Yeah, that was Jerry's mom.
Oh,
Even
right.
I could, yeah.
She's all like, "You're doing a wonderful job."
I'm like, do you feel like she was a plant, or do you think she
Oh.
was somebody who just really like?
They're definitely giving scripts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm now giving scripts.
And then they throw in like,
Because she's
people
just,
who aren't
he's just
scripted.
like, oh, like,
like a one.
I'm just
Yeah,
I'm
one
just
dude.
a
and,
servant
like,
of the
they're
prince.
throwing, like,
I
he's not
find
spooning
it
him.
funny, yeah, because when you get to Jerry's mom, you see them put up all three of the audios, but it doesn't make sense because one, it's hisses, cheers, and then like boos.
Uh-huh.
But he does all three of them up at the same time.
Oh, really?
Oh. So I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, this is not accurate.
But you wouldn't push those dials.
Oh, and then the general comes up. Or Arthur, it shows ends, and then Arthur or the sheriff.
Yeah, the
is,
sheriff.
like, writing down something, and the general comes up to talk to him. He's like,
Oh, I
talking about
think.
the plan, right?
Oh,
he's
yeah.
Like, oh, and he asks Hurley, his character.
His head, right?
You killed him, right? You took care of it. He's like,
Oh, yeah,
no,
because they
I
get
thought-
No, I think that's a little bit
On my
later.
notes, I have it right after Jerry's mom is that.
Yeah, it's
No,
right after
because
that.
then he talks about his book.
Oh, like,
Oh,
His,
well, he
which
does
has
it,
an
like, during-
awful book title.
Oh,
The book title was-
Everything I Say Is Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the name of the
Yeah.
book,
But he's also like in that part where he's talking to yeah. In that part where he's talking to Jerry's mom, he's like, I'm just a humble servant, so on and so forth.
Yes.
So I feel like a better title for that book would have been like The Curse of Always Being Right, where he feels like,
Yeah.
And then they talk to the prince, and they were trying to
Yeah.
get him to be like, they're trying to get him to like realize like the
That the
sheriff
pr-
was
yeah,
trying to kill
The
you.
sheriff is
No,
like,
that's
wants-
before. Because on my notes, I have that right after the conversation he has with
Yeah.
the general.
yeah, he
he talks to
He does.
he talks to the general first about like what.
Oh, about
mistake he
them
made.
being because they sent them the demands. They were like, the prince and the sheriff are gonna die.
Yeah, and then he's like, "What are you talking about?"
He's like, well, obviously, like I'm not a prisoner, and he's
Yeah.
like, and obviously the prince is dead, right? And the guy's like, I don't know, you tell me. Like you said,
Yeah.
you're gonna take care of it.
Yeah, and then it cuts to like where
I enjoy this part, like, because it's like he starts threatening him, and I love it that you get the scene of him threatening in the background. You can you just see the crew like doing their
Just doing their
jobs.
stuff, like they're not
Yeah,
even
like,
phased by it.
Yeah, like the comparison between these two like different things going on.
So then, like, is it Wade that kind of telling the prince, like,
That the sheriff.
the
He
sheriff
brings
is,
up the rule of line of like. Who
Yeah,
will take
that he's
over.
the
Oh
last
yeah,
one.
but that doesn't make sense because okay, if he doesn't have any heirs, wouldn't it still be like if you think about?
I thought it was just the king wants the king. That's what I thought.
Oh, I thought it was like because he was like, well, obviously the sheriff would benefit the most from you dying because he's next in line.
Right, yeah.
But I'm like, wouldn't that actually be like a cousin or like a second?
No, I think he said there was no other
relatives.
bloodline, that he was the last of the bloodline. So basically, there would be nobody to
So there
contend
was,
against.
but
it,
that's
so
what
he
I
would
feel.
automatically
I feel
take
like there
over.
would still be someone.
I feel like
There
there
would
wouldn't
still be like
anybody
some
that-
lost, like some longer relation.
It
do
doesn't
think
matter.
It is weird
'Cause
that
I-
it is the sheriff.
Yeah.
Like, on San Francisco, by the way, it's just San Francisco. I
Oh,
feel like
that's the other question I had. So he's the sheriff of San Francisco. Do all the other cities have their own sheriffs? Like, is
San
there?
Francisco
I
a state
guess.
in this world, or,
Or is San
like,
Francisco a state?
colonies, like,
I don't know.
Like
It's
I
insane.
would have liked to seen like I would have loved that they had like a map in the back where it like kind of split everything up.
Yeah, so the way they have it set up seems it's like he would take power.
Yeah, he would.
Nobody would.
But I
contest
feel
it,
like I
so-
said, I feel like it would be like a second
Yeah,
cousin or
I feel like
somebody.
he probably just has so much power at this point that nobody's
Yeah.
gonna like try to like fight him over it.
True.
So then he kind of realizes like, oh my god, she's right.
Yeah. But yeah, and then they go into that whole thing about Wade makes that like because Arturo and the prince are tied up, and she's
Yeah.
like, we have to keep him safe no matter what. And then she makes that suggestion of like, even if he has to come with us on the slide, like
Yeah.
right? She
Yeah.
says that where she's
She
like, even if
suggests
he
it.
has to come with us.
Yeah,
Where I'm just like, should he? I don't think like
No.
don't bring him with
Yeah,
because
you.
then now he's like away from home and like he's gonna travel with you nonstop.
Yeah,
now?
and then when you get back home, he's just gonna be there, and then
She saw this is my new boyfriend.
I know, and I'm like,
And then you can kind of see he likes her.
yeah,
And
you
then
can
I-
tell
I-
he's very
find
like
this, I think the subplot is so annoying. Like you have these both awkward subplots going on between
Quinn and
Quinn and that general chick,
Yeah,
which is like,
and then
okay,
like they had
you
to force that
hear-
love.
Yeah, I think I find the whole subplot between Quinn and Wade really annoying. I just think it's a distraction. Like I don't like it. I don't think there's anything great. I think it's just because you have to have something like that in a show.
Probably yeah, because it didn't really, especially Quinn's little like tryst with the. I mean, there comes that nice that conversation of both of them together where they're like, he's like, oh, he's got it bad for you, and
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
there's that like little thing where they're like, I thought we said we weren't going to get involved. He was like, so
Yeah.
I guess I did enjoy that scene.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I guess that came from it.
And
But
then-
also there's that part that you get into this like long shot of Rembrandt walking down
Oh, is them to then talk to Quinn?
to talk to Quinn.
I feel like this is them just trying to get content in for those two characters because you can tell this definitely feels like a more Arturo Wade focused episode.
Episode true.
Yeah.
So
But I
just-
thought,
let's
but
do
I thought it was a nice shot. At least, like it was a nice shot, and I
Oh, like,
wondered if it was a
actually.
one take long shot too.
Oh, it's a band of the whole-
Yeah.
maybe. And then so then the Raiders they
Like,
they
they're
kind of
into
they
killing,
want to
they're
kill,
just
and then Quinn like goes in there and starts just doing all these like freedom quotes.
Yeah,
he just
one of
steal
them
from the
was-
rich and
one
give
of-
to the poor.
I know.
From JFK. he said
So
this.
I wrote them all down because I was
Oh,
like, this
okay.
fool is literally just like
He's
saying
just
other
taking the
people's
embodiment
lines.
of, like every single inspirational like president, like a line that a president has said.
Yeah.
he said it to someone.
But there's also that one guy who was like, no, like listen,
No,
like
let's
let him
listen to
cook, let him cook. Like,
him.
but one of them was violence begets violence, which apparently is a saying back that was been used since the 19th century. And then he says power doesn't come from the barrel of a gun. So I was trying to figure out where that
Were any
came
of them
from.
George Washington?
No,
No, really?
no,
Wow.
but one of them was like that. One of them was from
Yeah,
Kennedy.
I
Yeah.
read that one.
So there
It's not
was-
that
So the one I was trying to figure out where they all came from, but that one that he says power doesn't come from the gun, the closest I could get was a phrase that actually goes political power grows out of the barrel of a gun, which was said by like a Chinese communist leader.
All right.
And then he says a chicken in every pot,
Oh yeah.
which was that was like from a presidential like run too.
Oh, teach a man.
Teach a man.
To give a man a fish,
he should.
Which is
teach a man a fish.
which is a proverb, which is a Chinese proverb. Everyone, and then there was chicken in every pot, rob from the rich and steal. Which I'm like, do you guys not have Robin Hood?
I guess they probably wouldn't.
Because no one was like, hey, and then he did the.
I don't know.
I guess it's a medieval tale.
Yeah, so I'm like, and then he says that line, "Ask not what your country can do for you."
Yeah.
That one was from John F. Kennedy, yeah. And then he also says, he just keeps spouting them out. What's it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul?
Hey, some people were liking it.
He
gets them riled up.
They're like, yeah, it inspires
something's gonna stick.
One of them's really, and that's
the poor was the one that won.
So the first one is kind of like a Bible. This one's like a Bible quote too. And then he ends it with power to the people, which is obviously like Black Panther there.
Yeah. And then
this is where
and then it leads into like a montage.
I love it. The montage. The montage made me laugh.
We're going at like, I don't even know what the frame.
You know what that
is.
I wondered, because it reminded me of those like you wouldn't steal something from a blah blah blah.
Oh,
you know those old
DVD pirating?
Yeah, the pirating commercials. Because it was like similar feel, and it was almost like
the color scheme was like similar.
Yeah, and so it was like the kind of like the kind of like cutty like way it felt, and also like the way it looked.
The music,
it was like kind of like staticky.
Like, I want to know what it was like. They go to the cutting room. They're like, yeah, this is making it in.
I feel like it had.
I wonder if the frame rate was like that, just because like, oh, let's make it look. They were here for a while.
You can tell that. Well, to be fair, any episode or anytime they're outside, the quality always looks bad, without a doubt. Like anytime they are outside and you look at them and they do like shots of them, they look bad. Like they look like pixelated.
Oh, like
when they're inside doing regular shots like that, they look fine. Like they look good.
I wonder if they had to use different cameras for each.
The quality gets better as we get further into the seasons.
I think it's bad. It's horrible.
I think they were trying to I feel like they were trying to like do, or at least maybe they use that because it looks like I said, like the choppiness looks like those commercials used to do. The like way the music they use kind of sound. I feel like it was But they were robbing. But they were robbing from the rich. Because they were like, it was like the crown jewelry or
it's just like a bunch of stuff. That's funny.
But then
you get that random girl that kisses Quinn and Wade.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
He gets another kiss. Yeah.
And Wade kind of like looks at him like, oh my god.
Yeah, now it's her turn to roll her eyes. Like she's like, again with this fool.
He's like, look, you kissed that one dude. I get a kiss too.
I know. You kissed that one dude almost killed you.
I don't know what you did with that commander guy.
I know. And then the sheriff gives a speech after that, right?
Yeah, and then he wants to catch. What did he say? Quinn and his band of thieves or something like that.
His merry band of men.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. So now is Quinn like is he part of, or is he boss of that? Yeah, is he a leader now?
He's like the lead of that revolution.
Yeah, kind of.
I guess.
So then it shows like, I don't know why Quinn he's like outside.
Oh, is that what it? I remember from what I have written down, it's that part where she's untying the prince, but he's like still in the cage.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So you can kind of tell the prince is like
really into her. Yeah. Which I'm like, would this be considered Stockholm syndrome, or because he was like kidnapped and he like fell in love with her, and then they have that conversation, and then I noticed Quinn's like kind of like knitted sweater.
He's got a knitted sweater.
He's got kind of like a knitted sweater. I'm like, where'd they get these clothes from now?
Who knows?
They
stole it from a rich person.
Wearing, like, you kind of see like their fashion, definitely like the British fashion.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
But
this is when you get the side conversations between Quinn
and wait, where she's kind of
like side love plots that have been going on. In this
so
movie.
I'm like, so he's kind of annoyed that the prince likes her,
Yeah, and then
which is
she's annoyed
weird.
that the, like, lieutenant
That there's like rumors
Yeah.
that they're getting involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do. She's like, how quickly they forget, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're both talking about their separate involvements, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like hers was a little bit less.
Yeah, I don't think she was really feeling it. And then he's like, "Oh, you're in love with Quinn, aren't you?"
Oh yeah, yeah. And she's like, even if so, then he could have. I'm sure Quinn heard that because he was sitting right there. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
and he makes that like comment of like he's got it bad, so obviously I'm sure he like heard their conversation. So I'm like,
yeah, this is when they like. Do they look back into the cage and then
they're all sleeping.
Oh, they're all sleeping. When
They're all
someone wakes
sleeping,
up,
and then
he escapes.
somebody realizes that the princess
There's,
has
like, a
escaped.
hole that he, like,
He Shawshanked
I
it.
think he did went through
Like the vent.
ventilation.
Yeah, he went through a vent. Yeah. But I thought it was really cute the way they were all sleeping. Like they're all kind of like Quinn was kind of like huddled like on the like end of the bed, and then like Arturo's laying on the bed, and then like Rembrandt's kind of like that like laying next. Like they all seemed like they were kind of like cuddled together to sleep.
Yeah.
So then Quinn goes out to go try and rescue the prince, right? We see him
Oh yeah, just to kind of find out where he's at.
Yeah.
Van comes by and they he gets kidnapped.
And then we see the prince coming. This prince then comes into the view, and he sees like kidnapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he first is kind of looking around at all the yeah, and then I think that's when you start to see like the realization in his face of like, oh, because he I guess thought everybody was rich.
Yeah, I guess so. Or at least
yeah,
doing well.
And then he sees that like no, there's a bunch of people on the street. Yeah, and then Quinn gets taken again.
And then this prince heads back to the base after seeing what's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it cuts back to Arturo, the sheriff Arturo, saying that they've captured Quinn and that he's going to be executed.
Yes. Oh, well, he was so when they were like walking him down, because right they were going to like trial him and then execute him.
Yeah,
he seemed like not defeated, but like he just seemed so out of it when they were like walking him out. Like yeah.
Maybe they beat him or something.
I know. I'm like, what happened? I almost thought like, did they drug him or something? Because he was just like, he had this weird face.
And then this is when they decide to revolutionize, or this is when
they're gonna storm like the station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you
see Remy with his hat?
Do you feel like you get a little bit more like brave knowing like we're out of here in 2 days, like in a day? Right? Like, what are they going to do to us?
No, I just think they have to, like, okay, we need to get him back before we slide.
If anything, they're more worried because they have to get Quinn out before they...
Yeah, so their plan was to, like, make the prince denounce the sheriff, which would, like, set Quinn free.
Yeah.
So they have to, like, go in.
Get him in there, like, to do broadcasts.
Oh, and then the prince asks Wade out. Right, like before this happens.
No, yeah, that was back when they were having that conversation, and she.
Oh, and then she makes mention to her work schedule. She goes, She's like, I have Mondays and Wednesdays off, and I thought, like, that's an awful schedule to have because you're off.
I was like, Monday. I'm on like Wade's work schedule. She gets Mondays and Wednesdays off.
Like, how awful? Because it's like you're off. You're off. You work. You're off.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm like, that's awful. Either give them together or separate them a little bit more. But I know I also jotted down. I'm like, Mondays and Wednesdays. That's awful.
She's Mondays and Wednesdays.
Maybe she's got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, so then they charge the station with like their guns, and then.
Did you notice the music that they had while the prince?
Oh my god! Yes, there was a really funny song.
I was like, the music is going hard,
and it doesn't match like.
It doesn't. It's not like. It was almost like rockerish.
Looking and seeing all the poetry.
Yeah, it was really like it didn't match the scene. It was like very.
It matches more like the
montage. That would have been on the montage. That's when they should have put it.
Look, this is the only audio we have left.
But yeah, I put like a little note. I'm like, this music's going hard. I don't know why.
The composers, and then saw like how many different composers Sliders has.
How many?
It has like a lot of different composers. Like I guess the guy who composed the first episode. He only did one other episode after that.
Uh-huh.
It's like way separate episode. But yeah, I guess they have a bunch of different composers. And I guess that made me think, do shows naturally have different
Composers.
Maybe. I guess it
I
depends.
wonder. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I thought it was funny. They called they kept saying bloody, like they're like bloody devil.
Rembrandt gets
Oh,
called
blood.
a brother by this.
Oh, he's constantly getting called a brother
Rembrandt.
by him. Yeah,
I was like,
she's always like, look here, brother.
Yeah.
But it almost to me it almost came off as Hulk Hogan kind of like. I know. Like it never really flowed out of her very well.
Yeah. Okay, so they take the sheriff hostage at this point, right? And
Yeah,
then
they
Yeah.
bust in
they
there.
start doing the prince does his like speech towards the
Oh yeah, and then they're telling him like what the different.
the amendment.
Yeah.
And then they're like, this is where we get a line Arturo. We learn that he doesn't want the Second Amendment to be on there. He says,
No.
"Scratch that."
Remy
Oh,
does.
the right to
Yeah,
bear
Rembrandt.
arms.
Oh yeah, I thought you said
Yeah.
Arturo. No, yeah, Rembrandt's all like scratch number 2.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no,
You're
like it
outside.
is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he's all like, he says number 5,
Yeah.
which, and then he goes number 6. He's like, oh, what the heck is number 6 about?
Oh. Yeah, and then like Rembrandt says it, but he adds like a soul. Like but
No,
this
he
is-
wasn't. He actually
but he-
didn't say the 6th one. He was just like,
he just made it up.
he was like, everybody's created equal no matter like sex, race, or music taste. He
oh,
said.
that's right. Yeah.
But but
they don't. They can't even remember.
yeah, they're just like,
Yeah.
well, there's so many amendments. But there's also that one part before they fully go in where the sheriff is getting done in his makeup set.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
he's like, so good looking. You're like, so like, he's really feeling himself.
Yeah.
And then when they first break in, they kind of have like a close up of the dude reading that
and with the gun-
newspaper.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
But then, like, the gun pokes out.
Oh,
Towards him, right?
But I thought it was funny because the newspaper had like some story about like, oh, can my son find hope or something? It was, I forget what it
This
was.
is a story in the paper.
Yeah, it was like a story in the paper about like, and it had like a little like picture of a little kid.
Mhm.
And then right next to that, there was a segment that was called Smile of the Day or something. And it was like a woman in a bikini. And I thought it was really weird that those two are like the kind of like clearest image you can see in this.
Yeah.
And he's like very intently looking at the newspaper. And I'm like, is he reading the story or is he just looking at that picture?
Yeah.
And then they had like all these weird camera angles too
Mhm.
when they were like breaking in.
And then you had Quinn all strapped up. He was all looking
Oh,
at the
he's about to
clock. He's
get
all like he's about to execute it. Was he electrocuted?
I don't
Was it
know
electrocuted?
I think it was electrocuted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they were able to get to him.
Yeah. Oh, he gets pardoned. Oh, this
Yeah.
is where we get it's the Magna Carta. The second Magna Carta is what he's enacting. That's what the prince.
Oh, is what he. Oh, okay.
So it's not the Declaration of Independence.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
because he's. Oh, that's right. That's right.
It's just the second Magna Carta. And
That's
so
funny.
yeah, then Quinn gets pardoned, and then we get the shot with.
They're, like, waiting
Yeah,
around.
they're waiting, and is that the Universal lot? That looks like.
Yeah, I
that's
think
the
so.
clock
Oh,
tower.
it
I think
looks-
it's the clock
Oh,
tower.
that's the clock
Yeah.
tower. Okay.
Yeah.
And they're
so
like
they-
waiting for Quinn to come back.
Yeah, so-
And then the prince asks if Wade can stay, if she can stay.
Oh yeah. once
Oh yeah, to
Quinn
be
makes
hit,
it.
like he immediately
Oh, the
proposes to
queen,
her.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm telling you.
He thought I need you.
Oh, you know what though? I did look up what the 6th amendment was. It was actually like it had to do with like trial processes. So it's like your right to a speedy trial and like a.
Oh yeah.
So it was like
yeah.
way off from.
So then of course Wade's all like, no. She's like, well, she's pretty much just says like, she can't
Just gives him
stay.
like a kiss and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but then I think Quinn gets one from the chick
Oh, yeah.
too,
Oh,
right?
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah.
right.
This is-
He
Everybody
gets a
getting
kiss.
kisses. this
I know.
episode, except for Remy and
And so that
Remy will get his later. Don't worry.
you're like, you'll get his, don't worry. I know I feel like everybody's been. Has Rembrandt had anything? No, huh?
no, not yet.
Not yeah.
I thought he was gonna get with that chick.
With
Summer of
the
Love.
wife,
Watch,
right?
It's coming.
Oh,
Summer of
really?
Love.
Okay. But again, then they're leaving, right? they put the vortex. How long does this vortex last? Because they put
I
it
don't
up,
know, it always seems
and
like
then
a
they start
different
to say their
timing, right?
goodbyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
and then Arturo
never
leaves,
really
and
timed
he's
it.
like, he gives him like, oh, this is like the rest of the stuff,
Bill of Rights.
the Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
And then Rembrandt also gives him like, here's something extra, like here's a little
Yes.
extra.
Didn't he open it and it was like
James Brown.
It was James
Yeah.
Brown is King of Soul.
Yeah.
And then they're all like, who's
Who's
James
James
Brown?
Arturo says something. Did you write that down? What he says, he does like a little quote towards the British, where he's like, something
I
about the
forget.
dark and not having the British.
Oh yeah, Arturo says the reason that the sun never sets on the British Empire is because you can't trust them, because God doesn't trust them in the dark.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought that was
Like he was trying to tell him, like, don't be shady now.
Yeah.
And then of course, just in time, like after everybody has said their long goodbyes, they like go through the vortex of it.
Yeah.
But overall, like I said, there was a couple of like interesting kind of camera angles and like shots and stuff that was not good.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It was like, okay.
It was a good episode.
Yeah,
it
it
was fun.
I'm like, I thought it was a solid episode.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was my favorite out of all of them.
So then, did you happen to do a tally of all the worlds yet?
So right now, so this one just brought us 2 new worlds. It was
Yeah.
Waterworld, and then
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was
The Summer of Love world. Then.
Well,
no, I'm not
yet.
counting that one. So I'm just counting the
Like
Waterworld. So
it's like
2,
in
the
order we're
Waterworld,
watching them.
and then the British colony ones,
Yeah.
the British
So did
takeover.
you have like a final tally, like how many we're up to right now?
No, I don't have one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll get it together for the next one.
Because we're up to quite a few now.
We are.
So the next episode is.
Next episode is gonna be Summer of Love. Yeah. So that'll be the next one, and then
Do you remember seeing this on its first run? Like, was this a memorable
Oh, yeah.
episode for you?
Most of the episodes from the first season I remember watching
Pretty
them.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember this one at all.
No.
I feel like I remembered part of the fever one,
Uh-huh.
and I think that's it. Because I don't think I remembered the last one. I know these are all new to Xander, so
Yeah.
either way.
That was my first time seeing them. Okay, yeah. So then we'll be back with the next episode with Summer
Summer of Love.
So until next time, we'll see you guys in the next row.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Sliding Through Dimensions for updates and extra content. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on new episodes dropping every other week. Until next time, see you in another dimension.